Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Arrow on Target. We're your hosts,
Chris and John. I said your name. Why did I say your name?
You are not me.
I'm Chris.
You may not have my identity.
You can follow me on Twitter at I am Chris. No, that's not your
That's
Twitter.
not me.
What is your Twitter?
Chris Wright 250.
And mine is John Wright 777.
So today there was
The Man Under the Hood.
Arrow's back for its 5-season run to the finale.
Yes.
Or five
episode
run
run, yeah.
to the finale.
If there were 5 seasons crammed in the next, whatever, that'd be nuts, dude.
That would be wild.
That'd be crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
So there were lots of things that happened. Lots of things.
Yes.
We're dealing primarily with Deathstroke now, which is really nice.
There's not really any other villain besides him, I think, until the end.
Well, also, to a certain, I feel like we've had all of these, villains here and there that have popped up, and it's we don't know what to think of this person, we don't know what to think of this person, but all of them, all of the veils have been pulled away, and you open the door, and Deathstroke is behind every single one of them.
And, and just comparing this to season 1, there have been far less villains, just, standalone villains this season than there were in season 1.
For sure. Well, also, it's you killed off so many of them last season.
That's always my problem with, flippantly killing off, characters, is, the toy maker, or doll maker.
Oh my gosh, he was so good, yeah.
That guy creeped the crap out of me.
Well, even we had, who was it? The guy who had, the master key or whatever. There was that guy just recently.
Yeah, that guy.
And
is
now,
he dead?
I don't know if he's dead or not, but now that has, come to pass, it basically... it was an effort to make things easier for Oliver, and then breaking in at the very beginning of the episode, and then whenever Deathstroke came in and stole the technology, so he can break in anywhere.
Well, how did he know that?
Because they used it.
I see.
Yeah, so they used it
sense.
early to take out the Queen, Queen Consolidated's.
Oh yeah, I walked in late on this episode.
Way to go, Chris.
Well, traffic was bad.
Yeah, I know. We all have excuses. But no, so you walked in, I think we had just broken into and blown up the factory, or the,
so they
the
used
Applied
it there.
Sciences division. Yeah, we used it to get in there, and so he was like, how did they get in?
Did he have a copy of that same machine there or something? Is that
he had a what was it? Oh, okay. It totally slipped my mind. Yes, a blood transfuser or something like that. Yeah, so some big industrial,
take blood from
piece
one
of
person
gear
to a lot of people.
Yeah, and the metabolization process would happen within the machine, because the metabolization process is the dangerous part, apparently.
What
to the Mirakuru
did these machines serve other than this?
I want to say it was a. I have no idea. All I know is that whenever we went into Star Labs, those 2 scientists, which
are going to be in the Flash,
which was really cool to see them here. I love the joined universe idea that we have going on here between those two shows.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they mentioned, in that section of the I guess the building that they were in, those were the dangerous things that some crazy, mad scientist that they had fired or something like that had come up with. And so that's, so it just happened to be in that section of their building. So what I didn't understand about this was, how close is Central City to Starling City?
I don't know, because...
And were we in Central City or were we in Starling City?
They've never said anything about... Well, we had to have been in Central City.
Yeah.
Because... they mentioned the fact that Barry was there.
Yeah,
and I think Felicity ran off and went to go see him. Back in the back.
So I guess this was the point whenever, I guess early on they were thinking about doing, a backdoor pilot for the Flash.
Right.
I guess this was that episode, or it was either this one or, one of the following ones coming up.
Maybe. Like I said, I'm still not completely sure that they would have rewritten that. Because they already had him in the Arrow once. Why not have him in it again?
So you think they might have him still later on in the season, or what do you think?
I don't know. I thought maybe they wouldn't have rewritten the story necessarily, although they might have, because if they're saying the pilot of the new show is going to be him discovering his new powers. Obviously, he can't wake up out of this coma until the new show starts.
Right.
Or he could wake up and then we just don't know like what happened until the new show starts.
Yeah, and I definitely think it might suffer from the whole, like, you can only do so much with that many characters in an hour, you know, that sort of thing. So it's like, I don't know. I just definitely think that we may be looking at no Barry for the rest of this season and until the Flash starts up. But
so we dealt with, so he got the transfuser.
Yep.
And he's making an army.
So he's making an army, man, and
how many guys did it look like? Maybe 20?
Like, I don't know. It's like that big circle, and it was probably going to do it multiple times.
That's true. He could have had more than one batch going.
Okay, let's think back to last episode, whenever he broke all those dudes out of the jail bus. Yeah. How many dudes were in that thing?
We estimated, I think, last week, like 30 to 40.
30 or 40? But so he's going to have 30 or 40, like, superhuman guys.
But that was just a guess, maybe. Yeah. Like, it looked like there was maybe 20.
Yeah.
Like, especially there at the end, whenever they all came into the frame.
Yes. And also, we are going to, I'm assuming we're going to have a superpowered Rochef
Which is amazing.
Which is nuts.
And oddly reminiscent of her being Terminator.
That's true.
In the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
That's true. It's really funny because like until she started like flipping around and kicking the crap out of Oliver there, I had forgotten that she had like knew how to fight.
Can we just like take a second and just be like the whole age, like how old she is versus how old she was whenever Oliver's father like had his fling with her. Like, she had to have been like 22,
when they were in love and stuff,
or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just do the math. They said she's like younger than 30, or so. If let's just give her the benefit of the doubt that she's 29,
and she's been back. Oliver's been back for 2 years.
I'd be 27.
Okay.
Okay.
And minus 5 is 22.
22.
If he was with her right before that, but they mentioned something about Thea.
Thea breaking her arm. So when did she break her arm?
Have we seen have we seen flashbacks of her?
No, I don't think we have, but we've referenced her breaking her arm before, and I want to say that was like maybe a year, like even more than like a year prior to them leaving. Yeah, before the boat.
So she was maybe 21.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess as long as she's above 18, it's fine.
Yeah, because they reference her being in business school as well. So it's like if she was in college, so even like 19 above, it makes sense with the timeline. It's just like it took me a minute to do the math and be like, what are we talking about?
She was between 19 and 21 whenever he had his fling with her, which is weird. Like, this guy's weird.
Well, which is nuts, and honestly, like, to a certain extent, I think that it's overdone a little bit with the whole like
relationship.
Well, like she's going after Oliver and his family because he chose her them over her or something like that. It's like that seems like a long time to hold this grudge. So I mean, that relationship had to be really twisted in the beginnings. Just for it to be like that big of a deal, you know, she I don't know. It's
she either had to have had mental problems before that, where she gets very attached to people and relationships, or you're right, or it was a very, very strong, like, weird relationship anyway.
It would be interesting to see more about her.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see some backstory.
Yeah, I would love
flashbacks about that.
Right, I would love to see kind of where this lies and how this all played out in the beginning, because Moira obviously knew about her, and so she was telling Oliver not to trust her all along.
Right.
So it's like there's obviously some history there.
You know, like I hope moving forward in further seasons, like all of this can always be solved if like they would the Queen family would just stop keeping secrets from each other
and talk to each other.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just start some communication, man.
So secrets that are out. Let's just talk about that for a second.
Well, first, before we do that,
let's
talk about Isabel Rochef just a little bit more.
Okay.
So she's going to be... So I was kind of bummed whenever she got shot. Number one, I was like, oh man, I was happy because she was shot and because it was Diggle that shot her.
Yes.
That was awesome.
But Diggle's there. Like,
Diggle
this was
actually
like,
there this
Diggle's
time.
Not like canvassing in some neighborhood somewhere. He is... Yes, I'm holding that against you, Arrow writers. He was canvassing a neighborhood and he should have been helping Arrow.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was...
Knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Hey,
have you seen this guy?
Have you seen...
No?
No? Okay.
Yes, no.
Well...
And like again, what time was it at night? I feel like it was like 10:30 at night. Whenever, let's just go canvass some neighborhood.
He's gonna get a shotgun in the face. Is what he's gonna get.
Anyway, so he's there. He's out on the field with him, and he shoots Rochef.
Yeah.
Great
so
moment.
Like that was it was amazing. But I was also bummed that she was dead.
Yes.
I'm like, man, she was a great character.
Such a great character.
But
And we've been bummed all season that we haven't seen much of her.
Yeah,
anyway.
no. Just because I like the character. I like her relationship with Oliver has still been like the strongest love relationship he's had.
Yeah.
Like at least that we've seen on the show.
Except for maybe Sarah, in that they are.
That's true. That's gotten closer. That was before that.
They were on the island together,
right.
and that was right before that.
It felt more real than him and Laurel.
Oh, of course.
And any of the just flings he would have or something like that.
Well, and I feel like that is a result of the fact that he's got to keep secrets from them anyway.
Yeah.
And so with Sarah, the reason that feels real is that he didn't have to keep secrets.
Yeah. Like,
and the reason it felt good with Rochef, and the reason it felt like a real relationship was that he didn't have anything to lie to her about. She was lying to him, he was lying to her. We're both on the same playing field here. So
right.
Yeah, she's back, she's super powered. They upped the ante with her character, and rather than killing her, they were like, let's up the ante and make her super powered now. So.
Right. Yeah, which is awesome. I can't wait to see her kick some butt.
Okay, so back to what I was wanting to talk about a second ago. Detective Lance and the Lance family. Let's talk about them a little bit. We mentioned Laurel just a second ago. Okay, so Laurel, at the end of last episode, was told that Oliver was the Arrow.
Right.
And so we were right in that Detective Lance didn't want to know who the Arrow was.
Yeah, we've been saying that all along.
That monologue there, that discussion that he had with Laurel, where he kind of just laid it all out there, is how I feel about both his character in this universe and Detective Gordon in the Batman universe, especially in the Nolan films. And so, I really appreciated the fact that somebody went out there and said it.
Yeah, but this is the thing, and props to Detective Lance for even thinking this way.
Yes.
Because I wasn't really we were always hoping that that's what he he just doesn't care. But he even put it more eloquently than I think I could have. And it was a very Batman-esque speech whenever he said, he's the hero that the city he's the hero the city needs.
Yes.
And it's reminiscent of the monologue that Gordon gives in the end of The Dark Knight. He's not the hero we deserve, but he's the hero we need right now. And it was very reminiscent of that, and I loved that. That was amazing. And just kind of using the same kind of terminology helps you relate this to another superhero moment.
It builds authenticity within universes and because you can go, oh man, this feels like that.
Yeah.
So you automatically just accept it as, hey, that is real, that is true.
And I also give props to Laurel. She has acted brashly and has not accepted her father's advice plenty of times.
Numerous times
this season.
I think you could count on your hand how many times she has taken her father's advice.
Right.
Especially the first time that he gives it,
Yeah, usually she has to almost die or something for her.
Or someone she loves almost die.
That's true. Yeah. But that's the thing. Sarah almost did die.
Yeah.
And I was expecting her to confront her then, because she obviously knows that Sarah is the Black Canary as well.
I love how slow Laurel has been to pick this stuff up, and it's hard for me to believe.
It's a comic book show.
Well, it's hard for me to believe that she acts so we're at this point in the season. She's been around for 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
How is she not putting this stuff together way sooner than this? How does she not have the appearance of being smarter than she is?
Let me argue the other side of this in that Laurel has been hard-headed throughout everything, and she holds on to her beliefs. So if her belief is
true.
That Sarah is not the canary, she's going to hold on to that because she doesn't want to believe something like that.
Despite the fact that 2 or 3 episodes, or maybe might be the last episode, where she's sitting this close. It's I feel like next time on this episode, I should come in with a cape and a mask. And I'm not John.
Right.
I
mean, she kind of pushed her away anyway. Haven't spent much time with her since she got back, and so it's and Sarah had obviously changed, and so I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. That being said, it is a television show.
Yes.
And they need it to be that way.
Right.
So.
And her putting it all together this time actually added a lot to the show this episode. So to delay it until now, it puts a massive payoff. I really enjoyed that.
here's something that I thought was weird.
Okay.
The fact that Rochef and Slade found Roy in some homeless shelter.
Like, what did he do?
Sitting
Like,
on the floor quivering.
where did he go?
What? He packed up his apartment, so number one, he has all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he goes to a
Number
shelter.
two, he goes off in his nice car.
No, it's not really a nice car. It's like
Okay, it's a car.
but it's like an old Mustang, you know?
It's not going to break down, and he has to
I
go
don't know.
live in a shelter.
So they tracked him down. Yes, you're right. And someone on the Twitters, actually Twitter was lighting up
On the
tonight
Twitters?
with the show because it's back, because we've been like starved for it for the last week and a half,
Yeah.
2 weeks or whatever. And so like, in fact, I think Felicity Smoke was trending or something like that. So anyway.
Why? She didn't do anything.
Well, she had some really good quotes. I think that this episode, she pointed out some things that I think with Felicity, her character is split 50-50 to me, where 50% of her character is the drama,
Yeah.
okay, and then 50% of her personality and her character is saying what the viewers are thinking.
Yeah.
Literally, like she says out of her mouth exactly what you're thinking a lot.
And
of
another
times.
50% of it is she's there to explain things.
Right.
Like, you know.
Right.
Like, oh, this is what this machine is.
Yes,
You know? Like,
yes, she's there for that technical side. So yeah, I guess it's kind of like in thirds there. So, but yeah, so there was a number of times this episode where she said exactly like what I was thinking, and I was like, I couldn't put it better myself.
Right.
There.
And
So-
Roy did that like a couple times.
Oh
I
my
like
gosh.
it whenever the writers do that.
Oh yeah, like last episode, Roy was like he was right on about so many things on that in that big speech that he gave to
Right.
Oliver and Team Arrow.
So, like, this is what I don't understand about Roy. You know, like, and I think I even asked you this, you know, or mentioned this. Was like, okay, so did he join him voluntarily, or did they just find him? And I mean, they said they found him. He didn't put up a bunch of fights. So I guess like
Yeah.
he's just giving up at that point.
I don't know. It's
like what's his deal?
Somebody also pointed out. She said Roy didn't give up or didn't put up a fight. I feel like that's probably stretching the truth a bit. Fighting is Roy's natural state.
That's the thing. That's what I was
It's
saying.
like he always fights.
That's really antithetical to the way that he operates and thinks, especially with a Mirakuru in him.
So they may have.
It doesn't matter who makes him mad. Like,
Right.
what was that thing? Who did he almost kill in the
Oh
bar?
my gosh! Yeah, somebody
Like,
like
bumped him.
like bumped him, or like
Yeah, he
grabbed his
spilled
shoulder.
something or
No,
something.
they bumped him and he grabbed his shoulder and he
Yeah,
was like,
almost
"Grr."
murdered the guy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say he's not gonna put up a fight getting dragged from a homeless shelter.
Yeah, no, that's true. And so like that actually might have been Slade just trying to intimidate Oliver or something
That's
like
true,
that.
too.
Maybe, you know, we could go that far and say that, but we'll find out whenever he wakes up next
Next
week.
week,
Apparently,
he was on
So-
the previews.
Yeah, apparently we're gonna deal with that a lot. We'll deal with him and Thea.
But it looked like he was fighting. Yeah, he was like, was he fighting Thea?
I don't know. He looked like
What
he
is
was
he
just
doing?
running away. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe he's been driven mad by the Mirakuru.
Let's talk about Thea for a minute.
Okay.
All right. So Thea is really upset.
Gosh, dude, and rightfully
Well,
so.
Well, this
like,
is the thing though. Like, she is upset to the point she's gonna let her family lose all the money and all their property. Like, she is pissed off.
Yeah, dude. And she made a good point, and it's like to me, I was thinking that hey, you're blowing this out of proportion, but then she made a good point to Oliver where she said, "I am the daughter of 2 mass murderers," you know, and so like that would shatter anyone's reality.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like you wouldn't just automatically go, hey, let me give up on everything, and
I mean,
you know.
this is the thing about Thea, like in the way that this is kudos to the writers for writing her this way, but like that's kind of a complex human emotion where like
Yeah.
she's saying I'm the daughter of 2 mass murderers just as a cop out for acting the way she is.
Yes.
Like, and so like she is acting badly. She's acting very mature and taking out her frustrations that had honestly was out of the control of Oliver or her mother.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they could have done was tell her. I still don't know why Oliver doesn't tell her, hey, I only found out a week before you did.
Right.
You know, like, and just be like, because the way I think she's interpreting it as her whole life,
Everyone's lied
been
to her.
covering it up. And that's
Yeah.
not the truth.
No, it's not that at all.
But then, like, she's using that, you know, her self-pity as an excuse to act the way she's acting.
Yeah, she's and there at the end, whenever he thinks that he has solved it and says,
Oliver?
"Actually, Dad knew, and he still
Oh,
loved
yeah.
you,"
Which is true.
Which
It's
is
all
true.
true.
But she is just looking for a reason to hate everyone. She's just looking for things she's grasping at things just so she can continue down this path of hate.
This is the thing, though. he called her Speedy like 3 times in this episode. And I think we're building up to something. I'm going to make a prediction and say by the end of the season, she knows everything.
She knows everything.
She
Like
knows
Arrow,
everything.
she's in Team Arrow, or is
She might not
against
be
Team
Team Arrow.
Do you think that she would be a good villain later on?
She would probably be a good villain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her to be a good villain. Because I want her to be a good Team Arrow person.
Yes.
I want her to be a sidekick. But
Yes.
and I don't. And the way it's going, like it seems like they're gonna end up killing Deathstroke at the end of this season. So we killed Malcolm Merlin killed Malcolm Merlin, quote unquote, at the end of season 1, and we'll kill Deathstroke at the end of season 2.
So could
Maybe
she be-
kill Deathstroke at the end of season 2.
So could she be a season
3 villain? But then are you
villain?
gonna kill her at the end of season 4?
See, but well,
see,
I love how you're like putting
3.
air quotes around
Because-
kill.
Kill, like people keep going back to life.
Yeah.
Isabel Rochef, Malcolm Merlin,
Yeah.
Roy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've already brought in what's his name, Ra'al Ghul, and
Ra'al
they
Ghul.
have the what is it
League
called?
of Shadow, League of Assassins.
No,
in this.
League of Assassins in this, yes. But what is it? It's they have the healing waters because he's
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
he's it's just a
I don't-
Lazarus pit. That's what it is.
Lazarus Pit.
Because there's
yes.
there's the whole like whenever anyone dies in the Bat universe, it's keep calm, find a Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
You know, just throw them in a Lazarus pit and they come back. So anyway, yeah. So I don't know, man. That's a good point because I don't know what we're building to. Are we gonna kill Deathstroke, or I mean, I feel if we do, he's gonna have to give good reason to.
Not really. Like, I know that early on in the season, Oliver dealt with these "should I kill people" issue, and he tries to pull Sarah away from doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like even this, no, we didn't really see him fight anybody this time. But last time, well, yeah, we did. We saw him fight some people.
Yeah, we
Like,
saw him fight him.
And Diggle, he's okay with Diggle killing Isabel Rochef.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
think he's okay with it in this instance.
Yeah.
And he even said, "I made a mistake by not killing him the last time I tried."
Or by not
Not
curing
giving him the
him.
cure, but, like,
he tried to kill him.
how would the
which I really
cure-
liked that.
How would the cure not kill him?
The cure would just take the Mirakuru out of his
And I don't
system.
understand if he's saying last time I didn't give him the cure, but I killed him. I tried to kill him. Why would that makes zero sense? If like
We'll
he's
find
that
out.
strong, try to cure him and then kill him.
We'll find out.
Because
I
if
mean,
the end goal is that he's dead, who cares what you do up to that point?
I guess, but I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
have to see what
we'll
happens.
see.
Because I have those questions too. I have those issues with that as well. So
And I hope they show like him like shooting his arrow through his eye and all kind of stuff, like how that all pans out.
Yeah.
And I also want to know what happens.
Because
Like,
they thought Slade was dead up until now, so he thought he had succeeded in this. In
Yeah.
whatever endeavor on the island that they're going to have. So
which I guess like if he tried to kill him, he probably comes back to life with the Mirakuru that's in him.
So here's a question for you: are you less interested in what's going on the island these days, just because everything on the in the city is actually awesome?
Yes.
Me too.
And you think about the extent of things that happened this week. Really, nothing. There was a bunch of talking.
Yeah.
And they got a key.
And
you know?
and I guess Sarah hasn't killed anyone yet, still, but you know.
Do you think she's the one that shoots an arrow through his eye?
No, it's gotta be. It's gotta
Oliver.
be.
He did
Oliver.
say, "I shot an arrow through your
Yeah,
eye."
I put an arrow in his eye or
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, I definitely think that's not like I don't know the whole Sarah thing on the island. She's got to become this killer at some point, either then or after she leaves the island. And because
Right.
again, Oliver thought she was dead. So when are we going to deal with that? You know, when are we going to deal with her
I don't think
leaving
we'll see
the
that
island?
till next
season?
Next season, or maybe she'll leave the island this
At
season.
the end of this season,
But it sounds like and looks like she was on the island longer than just that year. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because she really at this point hasn't been on the island that long.
Mm-mm.
Like, 'cause she was on the boat with Ivo, and now
Right.
she's back on the island.
yeah, so maybe a year.
They
maybe.
alluded to all her scars, and like, there's no way she got all of that in the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
Training for Ra'al Ghul.
Yeah, I don't know. And
They just looked remarkably similar to Oliver's, and they even made that comparison.
well, I think she's referenced being tortured at some point as well. So we'll see. We'll
She
see.
did, but I could imagine them going through something next season on the island
Yeah.
where they both get a lot of injuries.
I could see that. And then her disappearing at some point there,
Yeah.
or he just presumes that she's dead, or I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens with all of that. Okay, so I guess the last thing to talk about is the sequence of events we're going to be doing, like rapid fire. It's week. It's all the next 5 episodes. How quickly do you think this thing falls apart for Team Arrow before the big confrontation, or do you think that we're going to deal with some side things? What do you think is going to happen in the next 5 episodes?
I think it's a sprint to the end. Yes. I don't think we'll be dealing like next week or the week after. We won't deal with some like other villain and Slade. I mean, Slade requires all of Oliver's attention at this point
for the next 5 episodes.
Yep, I think I don't know where we're at in relation to the election. I think that we could bring that in at some point.
That'd be cool.
The election with Moira and Brother Blood, and Brother Blood trying to pull some kind of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Because whether Slade likes it or not, Brother Blood still wants power.
Right.
And they kind of brushed him aside and implied that he wasn't going to get it, but they still haven't really dealt with him as a character.
They brushed him aside, but he also said, I promised you that you would march on the city with an army.
That's true, so he's going to lead this army that he...
Maybe.
Or...
I mean, is he one of the guys that gets superpowered here, somehow?
I think they would have shown that.
Maybe?
And, I think they would have shown that, but I could see, it doesn't look like next episode would be about the election, but say he does get elected as mayor, and he, passes something that allows, or puts the city into some kind of police state or something like that.
Or Moira gets, I don't know, there's all sorts of things that could happen here, but yes, I'm right there with you. It's going to be rapid fire to the end. We're going to deal with Roy, it looks like, next episode, and see where that kind of shakes out, whether he's going to be a friend or a foe,
right?
Maybe in the end here. Because I think he could be easily twisted to the dark side.
This is who I think that, like, the Red Arrow in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Speedy.
what is... No. Speedy is different, apparently, than the Red Arrow.
Okay.
So, like, what is his relationship to Oliver in the comics? I think that's who they're trying to make Roy out to be.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was reading some things this week that made me think that. Actually, there was a really good article that I posted to my Twitter account.
I haven't seen it.
At ChrisWright250 on Twitter. Written by someone, talking about, I think it was Time. It wasn't Time magazine, or it was someone. It was a bigger magazine that was saying how Arrow is the best superhero franchise on television.
Yeah.
And on all the things that they're doing right in order to win viewers and create this world. Because you're right, like, we're gonna have now 2 TV shows now in the same world.
This is awesome
because of the great job that they have done grounding this world in reality and making it adapt well to television.
Right. Making it fun too. It doesn't lose any of the fun factor.
The main difference that they pointed out was the fact that they're willing to use heroes and villains from the world in the television show, unlike Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which really doesn't utilize their large. I mean, they have a large cast of characters.
The catalog of even just villains in the Marvel universe
that they could bring in.
Even okay, I don't even mind. Like, I don't even want to see like even if you brought in like some C-list.
I mean, there's been really C-list villains here, and one could argue that the Arrow is actually a C-list hero. Compared to the Flash.
Compared to the big 3, and then you would have the Flash and Green Lantern next, and then you would have
right.
Green
and
Arrow.
So, like, he's a few years down, but like they've done such a great job with the world, and that's it's definitely true. So check that out on my Twitter. I didn't write it, but it's a link on there. I wrote this whole article in tweets over the course of 3 days.
140 characters at a time.
Yes. No, but it's at ChrisWright250. You can check it out.
Right on. All right. Hoods up or hoods down on the second episode?
Hoods up.
Hoods up. I don't have a hood, but hoods up.
It's actually a green hood.
Yeah, you have a green hood
you
right
colorblind
now.
folk out there.
So, and for the people listening
it's
on
not
the,
just
on
light
the audio, on the audio podcast. So, all right.
Yes,
so
audio podcast.
That wraps us up for this week.
What are your quotes?
Oh, my quotes. Yeah. Gosh. Okay. I totally forgot about quotes. Okay. So we've got. Man, I gotta find them here. There's Sarah says, "It's not like Dad to lie," and then Laurel turns around and says, "Sometimes it's the people that are closest who lie to you the best." Which I'm not sure grammatically that was accurate whenever she actually said it, which is why it stuck out to me. But it was true nonetheless.
C+ on grammar.
Then there was the Russian guy or the I guess it was, I don't even know what he is, on the island, where he says. "They say living is best revenge. I say torture."
Living well. He said they say living well.
Living well,
Yes,
yes.
his best revenge.
And he says, I say torture.
Yes,
So,
I agree
yeah.
with him.
Yeah, you
Torture.
know.
All the way.
The best
That's
revenge.
what I do to my enemies.
And then the best one was It's the Arrow That Matters, Not the Man Under the Hood from Detective Lance.
So basically, it's the arrow, stupid.
Yeah, it's like, man, it doesn't matter who this guy is. It's the arrow, you know?
And let me just reiterate how much I loved that scene. I want to go back and watch it. I've got it on DVR. I'll go back and watch it probably when I get home.
Definitely.
But like that scene in particular is probably my favorite scene of this season.
I agree. It was one of the most powerful, I think it was one of the most powerful statements for superheroes and for that genre of television, movies, comics, whatever. It's a really great, it's got some really good thoughts in it about superheroes.
Lance is willing, more than willing, to give up his freedom. Something that as Americans, we hold dear for the Arrow and to protect him.
And to protect the idea of the Arrow.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's not even the guy under it. It's not like he's trying to protect Oliver, a friend of his or whatever. He's trying to protect the idea of the Arrow.
Yeah. And I like that a lot.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for this week.
Yeah, you can check us out online at stayontargetpodcast.com. We have another podcast. We talk about comics, movies, television, and games. Yes.
That's a lot,
Chris.
Chris.
Games?
It's
we don't talk about that all.
We talk about it all the time. Like every episode, we have a checklist. I'm totally kidding. We don't do that.
Anyway, you can check that out on stayontargetpodcast.com. We post to iTunes. This is also an audio podcast as well as a show here on YouTube, and you can find all of that, back episodes and everything, on stayontargetpodcast.com. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next time on Arrow on Target.